Hello, my sisters and brothers. God bless you. I hope you guys are doing well. So, a lot has been happening these past 4 days as far as an increase in the spirit and upgrade. I feel like, I've talked about the two doves that I saw, which I feel represents a double portion of the Holy Spirit. You do not have to wait for the transformation to happen in order to utilize these gifts. They are alive and active as of right now. The Lord is giving us a dose. So if you decide to exercise these gifts, you will be pleasantly surprised at the outcome. I talked about how I have been able to hear people's thoughts, and I can hear conversations taking place in my spirit, whether it be amongst me and another elect, and they're telling me something that happened in their life, or I'm giving and revealing something to them. It's surreal, like I'm literally sitting here listening to a dialogue take place in my spirit. And I have been, able to zoom in to some of the elect that I know, um, into their conversation. And this is not by no means gossip or anything like that. It's a particular part of that person's life that needs a little help, or if they need to be pulled out of deception, or, basically just to give them a better walk. Whatever is crooked, the Lord wants to straighten it. And that's what He leads you to. Um, so there was one conversation that I was able to zoom into during prayer in a vision. And after I saw it, I went to my sister that I love, and I asked her about it, and I showed her what I saw. And she said, she sent me a screenshot of a conversation that she was having, which was identical to what I saw. And, this has happened many times. And um, this is just to, help the person, or um, obviously the Lord sees something happening or a danger coming towards that person's direction, and He wants to stop it before it does. Whatever the case may be, it's always to either help or stop some type of disaster, or, you know, just to encourage. It's all about edifying. And me and another sister, when we're battling with something and we need confirmation, we'll get together and pray, and we'll both get like the same messages. It's just amazing, like what's been going on. Um, I've also been able to hear um, people vocalize, their comments in my head. And if I don't understand the comment, I will hear a voice explain to me what it meant. Like, I heard a young lady saying that, this happens to me all the time. The planes always fly by, something like that. And then when I said, huh, in my spirit, I heard a voice say chemtrails. And I remember that I did a video about, planes flying back and forth, spraying chemtrails in the sky. So I was just very amazed at how in detail things are, and like what I'm experiencing is, it's just very surreal. I've never had experiences like this before. And also the Lord has been leading me to pray for other people, which can be very, very difficult at times, especially if you're still going through, your mess, and you haven't been delivered yet, or your prayer hasn't been answered yet. It's very difficult to pray for people, but He has led me to do that and put certain people in my path and in my heart to pray for. And there's certain people that I pray for. Um, Once I begin to pray and I close my eyes, I can see like a blue misty light, and it looks like blue fire, and it starts to like crackle as I'm praying. When I'm praying and I close my eyes, it looks like I'm looking at the sky at night, like stars and purple lights, red lights, and white lights. I don't know. And the more that I pray, the more that I see like lights moving. I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but as far as the blue light and the fire, I also see that during praise and worship. And the Lord has shown me that when we praise and worship, we begin to build an atmosphere, and there's fire, like halfway, like on the ceiling, and halfway in the room, nothing but fire. Um, so yes, that's been happening amongst. I'm trying to remember certain things. Oh yes, my feet has been vibrating, and that's not unusual. My whole body has vibrated before, but my feet in particular now is vibrating. It's almost like when your phone vibrates, if you held it like under your feet, that's what it feels like. And I just want to give a few verses as far as the vibration goes. Proverbs 3:8, it says, "Your body will glow with health, and your very bones will vibrate with life." Isn't that interesting? So, if anybody is experiencing that, we know that it's of the Lord. Um, and as far as like me hearing people's thoughts and hearing conversations in my spirit, um, we have verse, I'm sorry, Luke 6:8. But he knew their thoughts and said to them, "Any kingdom divided against itself is laid waste." So we can just focus on but he knew their thoughts. So the Lord was able to know their thoughts and know what's in their heart. I don't like to say read, because it just reminds me of psychics. And we got Mark 2:8. It says, "Immediately Jesus, aware in his spirit that they were reasoning that way within themselves, said to them, 'Why are you reasoning about these things in your hearts?'" So he was able to determine what they were reasoning about in their hearts. He was able to know what was in their minds and what was in their hearts. Um, and the last verse, it says, "Verily, verily, I say to you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go on to my Father." So we're going to be doing the works that he did and greater works than that. So in order for us to do those works, we would have to have the gifts that he has. And one of those gifts are being able to know the thoughts of man. And, it didn't say in the Bible, it didn't go into detail of how it's going to come about or how it's going to happen, but we know that we're going to have the gifts that Jesus has. And we can expect for them to be extraordinary gifts if they're the gifts that Jesus had. So when these things start to happen and they start to manifest, you can't be shocked about that, because you're supposed to be expecting um, these things. They're going to happen during tribulation. So if you get a little dose of it now, don't be surprised about that. And make sure that whatever is happening to you, you take it to the Lord to get confirmation, and make sure it's coming from him. I always say I would rather have no gift than have a demonic gift. I don't want nothing that belongs um, to the devil. Not one thing. I'm not that desperate for it. Um, when it's coming from the Lord, I enjoy it. I love it. And I receive it because it's coming from him. But it only needs to come from him. So always test the spirit, and always, be on top of things. Ask questions. Tell the Lord to expose the enemy and all his plans. Bear him naked. Don't let him try and do anything in secret. There's times where I'm laying down and I always tell the Lord to expose the enemies, and I will see something sitting on my coffee table or my dresser waiting for me to fall asleep so it can do whatever it needs to do. No, you're going to leave before I fall asleep. So whatever you ask the Lord, he will do. Ask anything in my name and I will do it. And the only reasons why I speak about these things is because I know there's other people that's going through it and that's experiencing it, but they are afraid to come forth because people are so quick to call other people demons and evil and wicked and witches. So, because of this reason, they don't want to come forth with their experience. And, it's not okay for people to just assume that things are evil and wicked. Like search the Bible and read it and check with the Lord first. Check with the Lord first before you call somebody demonic and evil. Okay? So I know that there's people that's experiencing this, and I want to make sure that I talk about it so that they can feel comfortable and they don't think that it's an evil spirit that's on them, or they don't think that that they're alone going through this, or there's something wrong with them. They can't understand it. They're going in shock. This is why, because confusion is the worst thing to experience. So I will be the one to expose myself and whatever it is I'm going through, because I know for sure it's not just me. And don't be afraid, especially if you can ask the Lord to lead you to verses that can relate to what you're experiencing. It will bring such a level of comfort to you to know that it's coming from the Lord. Um, so that is basically all that I wanted to talk about in regards to that. But as far as visions go, I want to talk about one that I had about the gathering. What I saw was flowers blossoming, and I saw a bunch of different animals, like giraffes and pigs, goats, and then I saw a ark, like Noah's ark. And then I heard a voice say, "When the fire comes, then comes the gathering." And then in my heart I said, "Huh?" And then I heard the voice repeat itself. It said, "When the fire comes, then comes the gathering." And that's how I woke up from that. I don't want to add to that or take away from it. That's exactly how I heard it, and that's exactly what I saw. I did have other visions, which I'm just going to make another video and um, talk about that, because I don't want to make this video too long. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I guess that's basically it. Um, you guys just make sure that you always test the spirit, and ask the Lord to guide you into everything, and show you everything, explain to you everything that's going on, so there's no confusion. Um, this is not a time where you go and pray and you have to wait a month or a year or a couple of decades for your prayers to get answered. That's not what's going on right now. I kid you not. Something is happening. Like, if I go and pray, within the hour, I get my answer. And the level of communication right now has me in awe. It has never been this intense, and I crave prayer now. And it's not so much about the revelations or prophecy, it's more of the communion, knowing that, my Father is listening to me, and I can talk to him and I can ask him about things and expect an answer. It's very satisfying. And, it's not going to just come like that. You have to work. You got to, be in constant prayer and praise and worship. You got to be in your word. And the more that you do that, the more that your communication will intensify. And you will not regret it, not one bit. This is the time to seek him, and you'll just be the reward is great right now. There is something going on in the spirit, and he wants you to experience it. But you gotta press in. You gotta seek him. Okay? So God bless you guys, and I will talk to you soon.